Okay, so I really want to explain a lot of things into like somewhat in detail, but in one like a summarized kind of video, in like a summarized kind of way, like this one video. But it's very hard to put all this information that really needs to be together to better understand the topics as a whole thing, because they're all very relative to the point. And it's hard to do that without stopping and just thinking, separating, and then you figure out stuff about each thing, or just different things in general, and then you realize how it ties into the main point, and how relative it is with the other points that make up that one big point that summarizes it all in a sense. But yeah, just that in itself is confusing. But anyway, what I'm trying to say is I want to summarize some important information that's very different but very relative to each other and one another, and to the main point. Now, what am I talking about exactly? The main point? The main point is, well, that's the thing. The main point is everything, and it's nothing. See, it's, well, to be, relative and understanding here, I'm talking about existence itself. So, but existence itself is not, it's not real. It is real and it's not real. It exists and it doesn't exist. The reason being is because if everything and nothing exists, that means there is a balance, and that means that there is choice. This is what allows for choice to exist. It's the fact that there is nothing and that there is everything. And the reason for the choice is because now either or can exist, and all possibilities have an availability to exist. Therefore, you create your own reality, as Michael Grove has stated before, and several times. But that's pretty much it. It's just the daggone truth. I mean, it's not just this, and it's not just me. It's not about me. It's not about any of this. It's not about any of this wind-moving stuff. It's not about electrokinesis or telekinesis. It's not about hydrokinesis. It's not about being smarter than the next person to you. It's not about survival of the fittest. It's not about, doing what you can for yourself. It's not about self-gain. What existence is about is just that. It's existence. It's the fact of realization and awareness, and being aware of your surroundings, and understanding that you are not just here, and you're not just you. You are part of something way bigger. And the thing is that you don't want to put yourself into a position where you realize this and then say, oh, well, that means I'm God, because you're not. No one is God. Okay, God is it's a man-made word for source, which it's a man-made word for something that is overall, which is in a sense kind of a prideful manner of value, because you're saying that God is like, it's hard to explain, but a prideful entity that controls everything. When actually, the real sense of God is that it's where everything originated from. Something created everything. There was a source and a point, Big Bang, whatever you want to call it. Whatever started everything, because we don't know 100% sure of, we're not sure 100% of what actually started everything, or what caused it, or however it was to be as it was, just because it was just there. Like, is just because it's always been there? I don't know. No one knows for 100% sure. But we do know that there is source, and that if there is a source, then all things originate from it, and that means that everything's part of that original source. So you believe what you want, whatever, it doesn't matter, but the main point of it is that you are not just you, but you're part of everything in a sense. But that doesn't mean you need to become prideful of this and say, oh, I'm God, because you're not. No one is. God is just that God is, in a sense, the word God is really completely misused in many, many ways. And because God is, He is, in a sense, God is everything, but He's love, and love is everything, because love is the most it's the highest value of that can be reached, because it has the most, it produces and is of the highest frequency in a sense. And God is love, you know, and everything is part of God. We cannot be God, but we're all part of. So you can kind of say that God is existence, and that God is within us and part of us. Well, we're part of God, but we're not God, if that makes sense. And I mean, we can do lots of many things. If you think about it, there's not just one universe, I'll tell you that. There is infinite universes, and I have been to other universes. I have explored beyond. I have broke past the quantum barrier that what we would call the quantum barrier of our universe, and went beyond into the realm where like in the movie The Matrix, where he's in that white room and they're creating stuff. That does exist. And there are people who understand this because they have studied how physics and the quantum physics and all this quantum mechanics, and how astronomics, how all these things tie in to, it just kind of lays it out for you in the mathematics of how it actually is and how it exists. And that stuff is true. A lot of it is true. And if you break past the quantum barrier, which is going faster than the speed of light, well, you break in past the speed of light, and then you break past the speed of the infinite expansion of the infinite expanding universe. Then you reach that room. And I've seen where I've looked down and I've seen the universe before, and many universes, and they're like black spheres that are within. They're black spheres, but the universe is like inside these spheres, and they're infinitely expanding inside of these spheres. So they're still, I don't know how, but I guess that's just part of the makeup of it. And then you go beyond that, and it's just like it's like a glass plate, and I don't know how to explain it. It's beautiful. It's just like crystal light. It's just beautiful. I don't even know how to explain it. And it's very weird, and like you can see it from one view, but you can also see it from another view if you want to, and if that makes kind of any sense. And when you do view it from another view, it's got like these other extensions of itself, like spiky looking crystal things. It's hard to explain. And then I looked up, and then there's like what's after that is complete chaos, and I researched that, and it's true that what they would call chaos. It looks like black and blue. It looks like tentacles moving around randomly, like almost like on the grid pattern. And there's a lot of weird, red. There's lots of red, blues, and blacks. And they're like, some of them are black lines waving and blue lines and red lines, and there's like this weird looking background that's kind of reddish with like what kind of looks like orange bubbles, sort of. I don't know if that kind of makes sense. And I went beyond that, and there was, it's almost like, it reminded me of space, but it wasn't really space. It almost looked like stars, but there really wasn't stars. I just perceived it sort of like as if I was in space again, but it wasn't really space, or like outer space, my bad. It looked like outer space, because at this point, when we're talking about spaces, you might think of, what space are you talking about? Like quantumly, or are you talking about like spaces within space, as in space itself, realms, or... But kind of like space, and then it was like, I don't know how to really explain it, but anyway, I looked out, and it looked like there was a wall. It was like a beige grayish wall, and that wall had I went up to the wall, and apparently people do see it differently, but I saw it as trillions and trillions of red, shiny looking crystalline characters, like not engraved, but with the wall, in the wall, and they were flat the surface was flat on top along with the wall, but they were like different, I guess, and the textures were a little bit different than the wall itself. And these characters, they had like these little streaks in them, and it almost like sometimes they would like shine like as if like you're looking at a like you're looking at a glass. I don't know how to explain it. Like you see on like a mirror, a glass streak, or like you see on the like on cartoon stuff, a little glass streak. And I guess if you were to move the sun or something, and if you were in a cartoon and you would see you saw a mirror with a blue mirror with like a streak in it or whatever, except time was moving a lot faster and you could see the sun rise and fall, and you could see that streak move. It kind of looks like that through each one, but they looked like that, and some of them led to different universes and different realities and all kinds of things. Some places don't have up and down or left or right. Some things are just in existence in itself, and there's no differentiation within like what exists is just like one giant existence. And I've been to a man-made, or what we consider man-made, but we don't know what it was that actually made it. So whatever made, as my friend said, and it was really technological, but a whole lot different than ours. Really weird, really weird. Lots of colorful streaks, and there are colors that I've never seen before. And there's, one time I had a dream when I was a lot smaller. I had a dream, like it was, I don't know really exactly how to explain it, but the very end of it, I remember seeing it was like an egg. It looked like an egg, but it was just like a different color. I've never seen this color before, and I couldn't tell what the color was, and all I saw was like a constant change between grays, shiny grays, and an orangish kind of gray looking color. It was weird looking. I've never seen it before, and I remember I know what it looks like, but I don't know how to explain it because the color is just I still have the color in my head. I can imagine it, but I don't know what it is. Yeah, but things like that, and I mean, because you're at this point you're breaking. You don't have to be bounded by any other physical or any kind of physics because you've broken past the that physical that barrier, that quantum barrier, and the physics and stuff of other worlds. It's way different. The architecture is just it's what we would call complex because it's just so different than ours, and there's a lot of weird things I can't explain because there's nothing to compare it to, and there's not anything I can really explain it. But I've been to other places. I've been to worlds where they're similar to ours. I've been to like a city, like a metropolitan kind of like area, and it's like a city, but except there were really shiny round buildings, and they had like what we would like cars, except they weren't cars. They were very ovalish, and they had like a weird looking back to them. And I didn't see the creatures because they were all in these cars, and some of them were flying, and yeah, it's weird. And I've been to some really weird places. Like, there's one symbol that I've probably told some others don't ever go to. If you ever see the symbol, you might want to go away or walk away from it because it's weird. Because it was like, it looked like Microsoft, like in the old Microsoft theme, Windows, like the themes that you would get the backgrounds of them originally with that green the grassy place, kind of like that, kind of like our world, but it was really cartoonish almost. And the sky was like had like these little black swirls in them. They were like shifting, and out of one of them there was this weird looking, it looked just like a centipede. It was like a giant centipede, and it went straight down. And it was running around. I was like, what the heck? I was just watching it. And then it came in front of me. It stopped. And it looked at me. And I was like, it had eyes, apparently. And it was like, well, that's the way I had perceived it. And then I said, hey, or something. And it started mocking me. And it said something really weird. And I didn't understand it. It sounded funny and really messed up. And I was like, what the heck? This is kind of weird. So I just left because that was weird. But I've been to places where, like, almost like it looked like the Hunger Games. They were at a point where they were advanced, but they had like a Hunger Games simulation going on. It was weird, lots of violence, and but they were like, there was one place that had that, and they had like all they did was like these tournaments, these fighting tournaments, I guess you could say, for certain different reasons and awards, I guess, and but they had like healing things where they would like able to heal everybody instantly as soon as they got injured or whatever. after the battle was over, they just heal that person. Or if they died, they just bring them back, which is crazy. And I've done this with several people, and I've been able to. I don't know what exactly it's called. Apparently, it is. I've been trying to figure out if it is astral projection or not, and apparently, it is a form of astral projection. I call it mental astral projection, or as my friend has called it, which I kind of like, and have adopted it as sort of as a name. I don't know if it already exists. Mind sight and mental biolocation. I don't know which one, but I just call them all three of those things. And I've taught several people to do it, and I'm still working on it before I can actually teach others, because there's a few little things that people have experienced I want to get down. I want to pin it down so we can prevent it, because there's some weird things that happen from it that others have experienced and have said while doing it, while I've helped them do it. And I've been teaching over the phone, so, but I've been to, and that's why I've been posting a lot of videos, because I'm very busy with college, but also I'm just doing my own little thing right now. I'm just trying to get information compiled and, typed up so I can use it and, express it via video and, through communication. But yeah, there's a lot out there. It's a lot to explain, a lot to do. I'll have more, I guess, another time, so.